Come. Come with me. Come say farewell to Joe Goldberg. Let's watch the series finale of You together. So what you're about to see is really the final deconstruction of Joe Goldberg, catching him in the act. Bronte, she has been the object of Joe's desire, so she has been the you. She has been the person who we see through Joe's lens. She is now becoming the lens. It's a really beautiful device that it took the whole series to get to. And this is where she is going to lure him into his most vulnerable state and then pull a gun on him.
Skip my avenue when you said you were passing.
That's shot so beautifully.
And you.
Look at that, just,
Recognize it.
that's Lee, the director, asking me to smile when I didn't want to smile.
Love has a price. This is where it was headed the whole time. Peak romance.
Fireworks. Breaking the first law of consent. There we go, get the gun, get the gun, get the gun, get it. All right. This was really important to catch Joe finally in the act because he's not so much the icon of a serial killer as he is the deconstruction of a romantic icon. I think probably a lot of people would have imagined he'd come to his end in the cage, right? It's where his work ends, but his work begins in here, in the proverbial bedroom. This is how he manipulates people. This is how we as a show have manipulated you. This is the one time I fought to be in a state of undress and disrobe. They were asking me to put a shirt on, and I was like, no, he has to be as naked as possible. Of course, then we wanted her to be as clothed as possible so she wasn't objectified, so we had to find a middle ground. This one was important that we freeze him as close to the act as possible, because this is where we finally see how awful he is, how unsavory it is, how disturbing and distorted it is to want what he's offering. It's so hard to know how to take this man apart. But here's the best way. Take his dick off. I'm done.
Tell me how you killed Guinevere Beck.
So it's interesting that she didn't say why. We had a long talks about that one. So in this scene, we are seeing sort of the dissolution of one part of Joe Goldberg, which is the charade he plays with himself, that he loves his son. I personally don't believe that he loves his son. So Joe is at gunpoint trying to explain himself to Bronte/Louise, and then this call comes, which is this opportunity to speak to his son when his son is being taken away from him. And evidently it's the thing that matters most to him in the world. But does it? Because you're here in your briefs, bruh. So again, I don't know what Joe Goldberg's love is worth, but, you know, take it or leave it.
Can you hear me? Henry? Are you there?
What did you do to Mommy?
Frankie does an incredible job in this scene. Shout out to Frankie, he's the young actor there.
That isn't what Uncle Teddy said.
Such subtle,
I'm sure Teddy's just confused.
gut-wrenching
What
work.
did he say?
Do you remember when you used to tell me there were no monsters in my room?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you were so scared.
You lied.
What are you saying?
Oh, look at him, he is so good.
It was you. You're the monster.
Oh. I'm not crying for Joe, I'm crying for that boy.
Henry, are you there?
I don't think I've heard it with these strings. These strings are really doing their work. It's so tricky with Joe, because it's like, does he really feel this or not? I always wrestled with that.
This is deluded. You're not the fucking victim.
Her character is still in love with Joe. You know, she doesn't want to be. This is, you know, the reality of somebody trying to extract themselves from an awful abusive relationship is that it on average, I know the stat, is it takes 7 times trying to leave. She's trying to know what's right for her in this moment, which is at the very least her protection. She wants to know also somehow what's right for him, what is right for him? What is justice for him? Is it death? Is it prison? Is it mutilation? I guess he gets 2 of those. This is the final confrontation. There's like 7 final confrontations. This is the 7th and final confrontation. Emotionally, he's all knit up. He just wants to die. He wants to get out. He doesn't want to face his demons, and she's forcing that on him. And I think it really becomes a show about her rather than him.
It's over, Joe.
Please, they're coming! So this, it was so cold and so wet and so hard to perform.
You get to be the one who kills me, Bronte! This is how our story ends!
This was the last scene with words I shot as Joe Goldberg, and I found that my vocal cords were giving out, screaming through the rain, which is very loud, and I really didn't want to have to do ADR, which is additional dialogue recording. I really didn't want my performance to be ruined by a sound issue. I couldn't do anything other than talk like this.
You know you have it in you!
I had to force it up, and I was so perplexed. I was like, my body is not allowing me to do anything else. So I hope that it's a coherent performance, because that's all anyone was ever gonna get, apparently. Dick shot, right in the dick. We don't know if it was the dick or the balls, do we? I mean, sorry, forgive my vulgar mouth, but something's gone. Which part is gone? Which part of the trifecta? I think all of us at the show have always thought that death is, in a sense, too easy. In terms of justice in this life, Joe is somehow being brought to reconcile with what he's done. So we didn't want him to die, because whoever kills him is then somehow brought down to his level. Even though it's self-defense, of course it's not the same thing, but still. So then there's prison, which is like, is it enough? Is there justice in also such a flawed system anyhow? Surely there's some. So in order to make sure that prison was just, you gotta just take off the dick or balls. It's easy in a way. It's very easy. He doesn't need it anymore. So this is Joe at a tiki grill. He's just wearing his Hawaiian shirt. He's got a haircut. He's in the Bahamas. No, he's in prison. And he's left with nothing but his thoughts, which is the most fitting ending for Joe Goldberg. Left with nothing, not a dick or a balls, but only with his thoughts.
The loneliness. Oh, my God. The loneliness. No hope of being held. Knowing this is forever.
You know, I didn't want to be too precious with it, but of course the way that it was shot sort of necessitated a kind of slow cherishing of these last moments, as it should. I mean, you know, laying the show to rest forever. The whole set piece was designed by Lee Toland Krieger, the director. It entirely shaped my performance, and so probably the most work I had to do was with the voiceover.
Maybe we have a problem as a society. Maybe we should fix what's broken in us.
You're so very special.
Maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe it's you.
Well, I suppose the first thing I'd like to do is express gratitude, sincere gratitude to everybody who watches the show. It's become a huge experience, I think, for everybody. Obviously for me, it's an incredibly enveloping, all-encompassing, and life-changing experience playing this guy. But knowing that it is important to other people is a really interesting and meaningful thing for me. There's no better way to say goodbye than to get shot in the balls, you know what I'm saying? Glad we're all on the same page. So, there you have it, the demise of Joe Goldberg. If you'd like to relive his entire journey, and who wouldn't want that? All 5 seasons of You are now playing on Netflix.